Every night, millions of people make the same promise: tomorrow, I will finally start. Tomorrow, I will exercise. Tomorrow, I will study. Tomorrow, I will stop scrolling. Tomorrow, I will build my business. Tomorrow, I will change my life. But here's the strange part. It's not surprising that people break these promises. What's surprising is that they genuinely believe tomorrow will be different. Even after hundreds of failed tomorrows. Why? Why does your brain keep believing in a future version of you that somehow has more discipline, more motivation, more energy, when that version of you has never actually existed? Most people call this procrastination. Others say, you just need more discipline. But modern psychology tells a very different story. Your brain isn't trying to ruin your future. It's trying to protect you from discomfort today. And once you understand that, I will never look at tomorrow the same way again. Now, think about the last promise you made to yourself. I'll start on Monday. I'll begin next month. After this busy week. At that moment, you weren't lying to yourself. You actually believed it. You could almost picture the future version of yourself, waking up early, staying focused, working hard, finally becoming the person you wanted to be. But then, the day arrived. And suddenly, nothing felt different. The motivation you were waiting for never showed up. So, your brain quietly whispered, maybe tomorrow. And somehow, that sounded believable. Again, and again, and again. Not because you don't care, not because you're lazy, but because your brain keeps convincing you that your future self will somehow find today's discomfort easier to handle. Here's the truth: your future self isn't a different person. It's simply another version of the choices you make today. And that's where the real problem begins. Psychologists have studied this for decades. One of the strongest explanations is something called present bias. It simply means your brain naturally gives more importance to rewards you can enjoy right now than rewards you'll receive in the future. Think about it. Imagine you have two choices: spend 10 minutes scrolling on your phone, or spend 10 minutes exercising. The exercise might improve your health weeks or even months from now. Scrolling rewards you immediately. Your brain doesn't compare those two choices fairly. It feels today's reward much more strongly than tomorrow's benefit. That's why tomorrow always feels like the perfect day to begin, because tomorrow doesn't contain today's discomfort. At least, that's what your brain wants you to believe. But that's not the only trick your mind plays. Imagine I ask you a simple question: can you wake up at 6 o'clock tomorrow morning? Most people say, of course. Now, imagine it's tomorrow morning. The alarm rings, and suddenly, it doesn't feel so easy anymore. Nothing changed. The goal is exactly the same. The alarm is exactly the same. The only thing that changed is this: yesterday, the decision lived inside your imagination. Today, the decision became real. And your brain always prefers an imaginary future over an uncomfortable present. But here's the part most people never notice. Every single time you tell yourself, I'll do it tomorrow, something invisible happens. You're not just delaying a task. You're training your brain. You're teaching it that whenever something feels difficult or uncomfortable, it's perfectly okay to move it into the future. One delay becomes two become 10. Eventually, your brain stops expecting you to act today, not because that's who you are, but because that's what you've repeatedly practiced. And over time, a behavior slowly becomes an identity. Without realizing it, you stop saying, I procrastinate, and you begin believing, I'm just that kind of person. That's the real danger, because changing a behavior is difficult. Changing an identity feels almost impossible. This is what I call The tomorrow illusion. Not an official, psychological term. Just a simple way to understand what your brain is doing. The tomorrow illusion is the belief that your future self will have more motivation, more discipline, and more courage than your present self. But tomorrow doesn't create a new brain. It simply reveals the habits you've been practicing all along. So, how do you escape the tomorrow illusion? Not by waiting for motivation. Motivation is unpredictable. Some days, it's there. Most days, it isn't. Your brain doesn't change because of motivation. It changes because of evidence. Think about it. If you wanted to convince someone that you're a runner, you wouldn't show them your running shoes. You wouldn't show them your fitness app. You would simply go for a run. Your brain works the same way. It doesn't believe your intentions. It believes your actions. Every small action becomes a piece of evidence. Evidence that says, I'm someone who starts. That's why small actions are so powerful. Not because they change your life overnight, but because they slowly change the story your brain tells about you. Want to read more? Don't promise 1 hour. Read 1 page. Want to exercise? Don't promise an intense workout. Walk for 5 minutes. Want to write? Don't promise an entire chapter. Write 1 paragraph. Small actions may seem too easy to matter, but to your brain, they matter more than big promises that never happen, because every action is a vote for the person you're becoming. Not tomorrow, today. Maybe you've spent years waiting for a future version of yourself, the disciplined one, the confident one, the focused one, the one who finally has everything figured out. But what if that person was never coming? Because tomorrow has never finished a workout. Tomorrow has never written a book. Tomorrow has never started a business. Tomorrow has never changed anyone's life. Today always has. Every meaningful change you admire in someone else began on an ordinary day, a day when they chose to act before they felt ready. That's the part most people never see. The biggest lie your brain tells you is this: you'll be ready tomorrow. But growth has never waited for readiness. It begins the moment you take the first imperfect step. That's what Logic and Habits is about. Not giving you more motivation, but helping you understand the hidden psychology behind your everyday choices. Because when you understand your mind, you stop fighting yourself and you start working with your brain instead of against it. If this video helped you see yourself a little differently, subscribe to Logic and Habits, because the quality of your future won't be decided tomorrow. It will be decided by the choices you repeat today.